Hello, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful and amazing episode of Spiritual Talks with Gerald. I am your host, Gerald. So excited to have you guys back again, wherever you are joining us. Again, we are in around 11 or 12 different countries. Wherever you are, we're so excited to have you. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Thank you. Today, we're going to have this is a really deep but meaningful conversation about, here's a question I want to ask you, because this is what the episode's about. The episode is about, am I a slave to my mind? Am I a slave to, is one a slave to the mind? Yeah, we're going to talk about that today. I think that a lot of times we think that we are practicing free will. Right? We think that we get up every day and we do what we want, how we want, and that's what's happening. So we think, right? What if you found out that what you thought you were practicing as free will turned out to be the memories of your past? You weren't practicing free will. You have been rehearsing and repeating the same Groundhog Day every day. But you didn't know that. You thought, you were under the illusion that every day I get to pick and choose what things I do or don't do. That's what you thought. Until you got on this podcast and now you're thinking. Now you're thinking, right? Are you programmed by the memories of the past, right? Are you programmed by the memories of or do you have free will and you just aren't practicing it? I think once we realize that we have been practicing instead of free will, we've been practicing pre-programmed and conditioned thought patterns and living them out in our current present moment, and calling that free will, calling that choice, repeating the same memories of the past, the same program every day, and thinking it's free will, saying it's my choice. But if I have a question, if I gave you the ability, or if you had the ability to choose in life, whether you're going to be defined by the vision of your future that you get to create in whatever beautiful and fantastic way you want, or you can be right here by the programmed past. Future, past. Which one would you choose? Right? Most people, if they're in a healthy mental space, would say, I know the future is unfamiliar, but the past is causing me so much pain and turmoil. I'd rather see what's on the other side, right? So instead of being a slave to the past, you're saying, I would rather see what's on the other side of the unfamiliar future, right? But why do you think people aren't doing that in mass? Why do you think people aren't in large droves going out and living out the life designed by their future? Like the vision. Why do you think people aren't out there living by the visions of their future? Why? The mentality of the past, the memories are so big that it's enslaved you to believe that there is no future. Your past your mind has made you its slave and says, what future? Right? Or no? No. This is what this podcast is about. It's about evoking what's inside, realizing I'm just pointing I want you to come to the realization. These are some things that I've realized. I don't want you to believe what I'm saying. I want you to look at it for yourself. I want you to see, is there any truth to what Gerald is saying? Am I really living day after day in the memories of my past? Or am I living day to day out the visions of my future? Which one am I doing, Gerald? And you know what, Gerald, now that you say that, it's not a choice. No one chooses to be in misery. Not if they're sane, right? Not if they're mentally healthy. No one chooses that, right? What would you choose to do? You would choose to be happy if it was your choice. I'm going to ask you right now, if you were to choose, typically, how you'd like to feel, would it be good or not so good? Typically, people would say, I'd rather feel good. If the past doesn't make you feel good, would you choose it over and over again? Knowingly, would you choose the past that keeps hurting you over and over? Knowingly, would you choose that? Of course you wouldn't. You choose something that feels a lot better. But you're not making the decisions, are you? You're not making the decisions up there. Someone else, something else is happening where you're choosing discomfort, the past, over the unfamiliar future. What do you think's making you or stopping you or preventing you from saying, forget the past? I want to be defined by a vision of my future. The past hurts too much. Why do you think why does that happen? Because we're not running the show. The mind is running the show. The memories are running the show. The past is running the show and pretending like it's the present moment, and we're believing it. We're believing that the past is somehow now. Like what happened 20 years ago is happening right now. What happened 6 months ago is happening right now. I don't even have the same skin and nails and hair. No one has what they had 6 months ago. You don't have your trauma. You have memories of those moments. You have memories of your past. Every time you latch on to one of those moments that was catastrophic in your life, every time you latch on to one of those moments, one of those memories that were traumatizing to you, every time you go there mentally, you've removed yourself from your future. Because now you've tapped back into those old emotions that you're familiar with, even though it hurts remembering every time that moment happened. But yet, what do? We wake up and say, let me think that same old stuff that I've been thinking. Let me feel that same old miserable feeling. That's what we do every day. We get up and reach out for that familiar past. Even though it's hurting. This is so good. I love this. I hope this is adding value to you guys. You probably have noticed I really, really like this conversation, because I feel like a lot of times people don't really realize how trapped by the memories of the past they are. You say, Gerald, when I become less stressed out, then I'll do that. If you realize something was happening, how long would it take you to change it? Instantly? Or would it take time to change it? If you realized it, you could change it instantly. It takes time to become something, right? So if I remove the becoming and just allowed you to be that thing, you don't have to become anything. You can just be right now. Decide. You can be happy right now. You can think a thought that makes you happy. You can think a thought that makes you sad. You can think that. Right? You're not a slave to your mind. That's what this episode is about. You're not a slave to your mind. You have what no creature on this earth has. A monkey just wants to monkey around. A lion just wants to be a lion. A horse just wants to be a horse. But human beings have the choice to decide who they want to be, how they want to feel, where they want to go. You have a choice. You are not a slave to your mind. Once you realize that your mind has enslaved you, then you can make the choice of freedom or slavery. Freedom from the mind is your future, your visions of your future. Slavery is memories of the past that hold you down to remember what didn't work, how you were hurt, how things didn't work out. That's not right now. You haven't tried everything. You haven't done everything, right? But your past would have you believe that you've tried it all, right? Come on. Is it possible to be free instantly? I think it is, right? And the question you have to ask yourself is, if you don't make your decision up today as you're listening to this podcast, that you are not going to be a slave to your mind, if you don't make that decision right now, today, that right now I've realized, Gerald, by what I've realized, Gerald, not me, not Gerald telling you, right? But Gerald, what you've said has shed light or pointed to something that I do see patterns there, Gerald. If you decide today that you're not going to be a slave to your mind, everything changes. Here's the thing. What happens if I don't, Gerald? What happens in between time? That's the scary part. If you put down this podcast right after you're done listening to this podcast, and you don't make a decision to be free from the slavery of the past, your mind, everything that has continued to happen in your life up until today will continue to happen. If you do not make the choice today to not be a slave to your mind, you're going to go back and experience the same life that you always have experienced. My challenge, my belief and blessing is that you hear my heart, and this reaches the depths of your soul, and you realize that you are not a slave to your mind, that you have something great inside of you that needs to be awakened, that is dying to come out. And it doesn't want to be at your funeral to come out. It doesn't want to be on the bedside to try to come out. It wants to do it now. There is no in-between time. In-between time says, I want to go back to misery, Gerald. I don't want my future. I don't want to be designed and desired by that. I want to be latched and enslaved to my past, Gerald, because I'm not going to make a decision today, right now, that I won't be defined by my past. Because if you don't make that decision today, it's going to continue to happen. Life is going to continue to happen. It is my wish and blessing that you see on the other side, that you're able to experience the beauty of being free from your mind. Because it's amazing. It is amazing to actually see yourself making choices that didn't come from past decisions. I'm going to say that again. It is a beautiful moment to realize when you're doing it, that I'm doing something for the first time. I'm seeing my wife for the first time. I'm seeing my husband for the first time. I'm looking at my child for the first time. Why? I don't see them as the past. I see them right now. Because I'm letting the memories go. When you start letting the memories of the past go, you start seeing people and places for what they truly are. The beauty that's really in them. The person that they're trying to be, the person that they're evolving. You get to experience your wife, your husband, your coworker, your boss in a brand new way when you let go of the memories of the past. Yeah. I love this. All right, so this is going to be on YouTube right now because we're streaming live. And also we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify Podcasts. Also Audible. TikTok. We're everywhere, right? Yeah, I think we're everywhere. So this has been another deep dive episode on, are you a slave to your mind? Because if you are, hopefully this podcast episode has allowed you to take a peek into your freedom. Until next time, namaste, and continue to find your purpose, your passion, and your power. I'll see you guys next time on Spiritual Talks with Gerald.